Over 150,000 youths from different universities and other tertiary institutions graduate each year in Uganda, yet they compete for only about 70,000 formal and white-collar jobs in the market annually. Many of these youths therefore end in the formal sector where they find some form of employment. Others have taken external labor where they seek jobs abroad, mainly in the Middle East. But cheap labor in the market has led to the failure or sustainability of some jobs.
Definitely when people get jobs, they are so desperate, and because accessing the labor market is a problem, so when they access employment, they think now they have arrived. But then you see, it's not about accessing employment. When you access employment, you need to sustain it, you need security. So that is why basically the law puts an obligation on every employer to give written particulars of employment to an employee he or she is employing. And these written particulars could be in form of an appointment letter or an employment contract. And that is supposed to be within 2 weeks. But unfortunately, most employers are not doing it. You can actually see it from the statistics that 8 out of 10 Ugandans are employed on oral arrangements.
According to a new report on labor trends, employees in the informal sector earn an average of 168,000 shillings per month compared to the formal sector workers, and this has presented challenges because of the high cost of living. Kagwe Robina, the executive director of Voices for Labor, gave highlights on this report.
They are going to the same markets, they have needs, and everything around us has been capitalized. Education is very expensive, health is very expensive. Even these basic services that we are supposed to get cheaply are not cheap. So definitely such a worker is not going to be a happy worker, and that work is not going to be satisfied.
According to the Labor Act, the principal law in Uganda governing labor relations, it shall be the duty of all parties, including the minister responsible for labor and the industrial court, to seek to promote equality of opportunity with a view of eliminating any discrimination.
In about 2015, 2016, there was a revival of the industrial court. Now, industrial court is the court that is mandated to listen or to hear cases between employees and employers. All work-related cases go to the industrial court. So the revival of that court, for a long time it was not in action. It was not functioning. But the then permanent secretary of the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mr. Pius Vigirimana, it's one thing he fought hard to reinstitute. And indeed, right now, many disputes that have not been resolved at the different levels are taken there and given redress.
The 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda provides substantive protection of the rights of workers in the informal economy. For instance, the right to form and join a trade union for their own choice, the right to work, equality, protection from discrimination. But many of the existing laws do not extend these protections to the workers in the informal sector.
So the law does not discriminate whether informal or formal. I know that colleagues who work in the informal sector tend to think that there is no law that protects them, but it's a myth, it's a mindset. The Employment Act surely takes care of the interests of all workers in the informal sector. And according to that law, you don't need a formal contract, put a pen to paper for you to be thought to be somebody's worker. There are some conditions they look at if they are looking at what you've been doing, and it can be determined whether you've been working for someone or not.
The informal economy constitutes 85% of the Uganda's labor force, meaning the majority of the population depends on it for their livelihoods and survival. The informal economy contributes over 50% of the Uganda's gross domestic product. This shows the significance and importance of formal workers in the Uganda's economic growth. Story compiled by Ritah Nandera, Church of Uganda Family TV, News at 8.